Read 180 Audiobooks presents Daniel's Story by Carol Mattis. Before you get started, there's a lot of stuff we need to know to understand this book, so sit back and let me tell you a little bit about it. Daniel's story is about a Jewish boy growing up during the 1930s and 40s, the years just before and during World War II. He lives in Germany. This book is historical fiction. Daniel and most of the other characters are made up, but the events in the book really did happen to millions of Jews in Europe during a nightmarish period in history called the Holocaust. The nightmare started in 1933 when Adolf Hitler was elected leader of Germany. He and his political party, the Nazis, passed law after law stripping Jewish people of their rights. Jews were not allowed to vote. They couldn't go to public school. They couldn't go to movie theaters or the beach. In some places, Jews couldn't even walk down the street. Eventually, the Nazis began shipping Jews out of Germany altogether. Daniel's story starts in 1941. Hitler has been in power for 8 years. The Nazis have just rounded up Daniel and his family. They're forced onto a train with a lot of other Jewish people and sent to an all-Jewish neighborhood in a city in Poland called Lodz. The neighborhood is poor and run down. The Jews who live there must work like slaves for the Nazis. They must live in cold, dirty, cramped apartments. They have barely enough food to stay alive. And all the time they fear that at any moment they could be sent to concentration camps where the Nazis are said to be murdering millions of Jews just like them. During this horrible time, Daniel manages to hold onto a camera. It's his prized possession. In fact, after a while, it's almost his only possession. He uses it to take pictures of happy family gatherings. More important, he uses the camera to create a record of the terrible things that are happening to the Jews. One other thing you should know about this book is that you can find a chronology and a glossary at the back. The chronology on page 132 is a timeline of big events in Daniel's life. It shows how they fit in with actual historical events. The glossary starts on page 133. It's like a small dictionary of special names and terms used in this book. You can check there for words you don't know. Okay. Turn to page 3 and get ready to follow along. But first, I'll turn things over to your reading coach, Sabrina.
Hi, this is Sabrina, and I'll be reading this book with you. I hear it's a really powerful story. During the story, I'll pop in from time to time to make sure we don't miss anything important. I'll also show you some things I do when I get stuck, like when I come across a word I don't know. Ready? Okay, let's begin on page 3. Follow along in the book as you listen.
Daniel's Story by Carol Mattis. Part 1. Pictures of Frankfurt. Chapter 1. What has happened to me? I feel just like I did when I was around 10 years old and I got hit by a soccer ball right between the eyes, and I wandered around the field disoriented, not knowing who I was, where I should be going. Still, I will keep my pictures and I will tell my story, because if we forget, we will once again be defenseless against evil. If we forget how bestial, how brutal these schoolteachers, these doctors, these professors, these clean, upstanding citizens became, if we forget, then we too could become that way. And so we shall have to learn to stop these evils before they gain power, and it is too late. I put my arm around Rosa and hold her tight as we walk. And for the moment, I am content.
Wow, that chapter was full of ups and downs. Let's see. Daniel found out that Erica was dead. I was afraid of that. His friend Peter died too. On the other hand, Daniel's cousin Friedrich is still alive. He never did get caught that night he and Daniel hid from the Nazis in Lutz. And of course, Daniel is alive, and he's found Rosa, and they're going to start a new life together. And they still have father and Rosa's mother and brother. According to Rosa, that makes them really lucky. I don't know if I could call myself lucky if I were in their shoes, but compared to many other Jews, I guess they are. I hope they go on to have a really good life. They deserve it. In many ways, This is one of the most frightening, sad, and shocking books I've ever read. But I'm really glad I read it. As Daniel said, it's extremely important to always remember the Holocaust. After reading this story, you can bet I won't forget. Congratulations on finishing the book. If you liked it too, tell your friends so that they can read it. Take care, and thanks for joining me.